All right, guys. Hey, it's Kate with Kate's Relentless Life. Let's go ahead and get into a signs and symbols of the day message. We're going to keep track of whatever we see that comes out on these cards, and we'll just kind of rock and roll with what we've got. We have a Seven of Earth and we have the Engine. They did both come out at a tilted angle, but somebody could be spilling a plant over and having to scoop up the dirt in their hands today. They could be wanting to garden and go outside and put their hands in some dirt. There's something about like testing the quality of something, deciding how much like amendment do I need to put in my soil. Somebody could be planning on moving forward, planning on growing something in their life. This could just be a metaphor for the things that they'd like to grow in their life, and so they're kind of doing an assessment. Obviously, we've got some debris, we've got some broken down wagon wheels, car tires having problems, and needing to find alternate transportation may also be something to watch for. But those signs and symbols could be check the tires, make sure you don't have a flat tire kind of vibe. But we definitely have somebody who's, I'm looking at this more like they're taking account of what they currently have and what it will take to progress forward. So we have a character who's got a pretty clear mindset of where they'd like to head, what they'd like to do next, because Seven of Pentacles says this is already maybe, taken me a while to get here, but I'm willing to invest a little bit more to continue on. Also, of course, seeing a train or a train tunnel or train tracks could be another symbol, but this is kind of like a determination to chug on forward. I would almost put this, even though it's called the Engine, as like the Chariot card and add some Cancerian vibe to it, because it's, it's locomotion to move forward. And that would traditionally be, card 7 would be the Chariot in a traditional deck. We have Cosmico. All right. I think yesterday we got a card that really brought up the idea of somebody maybe like evolving in some kind of spiritual way, maybe becoming a psychic, realizing that they were a bit gifted. And with Cosmico coming in, we have like Zodiac is written here, and we've got the hand of the divine coming down. Somebody like doing little finger guns or something like that, or pointing with two fingers, whether it's to like motion somebody into a lane and, come on in, or whether this is, I mean, maybe somebody's going to church and the minister or preacher or somebody is, like the as above, so below kind of hand signal is coming out. But it feels like we have a divine, like inspiration that is either channeling into our character or they are awakening. We could have a feminine with dark hair, who is the one receiving this information, and she has butterfly wings on her back, by the way. It looks like somebody's being awakened today. To put it simply, someone is being awakened. Now, this could all be her, but I have to say, in my mind, it's not. This is a separate component. These two first cards with the gray tones and the earthy tones are separate from her. Now, if we have somebody who is trying to decide how to move forward, and she is getting divine inspiration, she may wind up linking her energy to whomever this is. This could be she's talking to somebody who needs some guidance, and she may be the person who channels some answer. I mean, maybe she's a tarot card reader, or maybe she's, speaks, some kind of like divine message. And that could simply be, words of support, words of love. It might be just the thing that somebody needs to hear right now, but it comes through her lips. But in truth, it comes from the best part of herself, her connection to the divine. So she could be interacting with this person who's making plans on how to move forward, but it looks like she has a solution, or she is awakening to a solution, and she has information to share. Okay, this is very spiritual because we have the white stag coming out sideways. I'm going to double down and say it definitely feels like someone needs to be able to share a moment of divine inspiration with another person, and that is what they come seeking. So she could be the individual who someone comes seeking wisdom from. Again, because of the zodiac, maybe she's an astrologer, maybe she is, in more of like a, it doesn't have to be astrology, it could be more traditional spiritual belief systems. Like I said, maybe she's the minister or the preacher or something along those lines. It doesn't have to be a feminine either, but that is what we see. So it's the energy of the divine feminine, which is the nurturing energy, even if this is a masculine. But it is very spiritual, and what she has to say is divinely guided, and what they wanted to receive is divine inspiration. Tell me something that will help me elevate what my plans are. Tell me how to move forward with the help of the divine. And if we look closely, 7 is always a divine number, and the 7 of Earth was that first card, and the 7 for the engine card was the next. So we actually have a 7-7 already. So it's not a shocker that we would have a lot of spirituality in this storyline. Now we do have the temple to Artemis here. So possibly, again, this is about hunting, seeking. I've been seeking spiritual guidance. Somebody wants spiritual guidance, and they're coming to her for a reason. And it's all about, how can I move forward? How can I invest the best? How can I make sure that my life is on the right path, the divine path? We have the star coming out in the reverse. That is Aquarian energy. Again, we get some 7, right? Because it's card 17. Seeing a statue today, or looking up into the stars, or seeing an image of like a supernova or something, some space related, like burst or plasma burst of energy rays. That could be something that is visible today. And I didn't mention this, but also obviously some kind of either a white stag or some kind of reindeer or some kind of elk or something in the deer family, something with antlers, or seeing antlers could also be a symbol of the day that is linked to finding that spiritual answer of, how do I move forward? I really feel like this is more of the story of a character who wants spiritual guidance, and this is their journey toward finding it. And indeed, they meet just the right person who gives them just the right piece of information. But interestingly enough, the information is not to say, oh, don't worry, it's just going to magically happen, it'll fall into your lap, you're so protected and you're going to have such wonderful success no matter what, and it's going to be just like, a falling star just lands in your pocket. I think she's going to be giving more solid advice, instead of this, oh, you don't have to do anything, it'll all just work out, what's meant for you will never pass you by. I don't feel like she's saying something that's, butterflies and rainbows. I feel like she's going to say something that's much more helpful and legit. The mayoress of air. Yeah, I'll say, if she's a straight talker, whoever this is, she's not going to give butterflies, rainbows, and bubblegum answers. She might be somebody who says something even a little harsh, and yet it's exactly the truth that somebody needs to hear. Look, if he's saying, I want to grow this garden, I want a huge, beautiful yard, but I have all this debris in my yard, what am I to do about it? He can't go into a garden center and say, oh yeah, I want to turn my yard into something beautiful, but there's all these bits and pieces and broken parts and, maybe some oil that got spilled in my yard, and I think that the soil is contaminated, but I really want to grow an organic garden. She's not probably going to say, oh, well, don't worry, just trust that the universe will make it happen. She's going to be like, whoa, you need to get your soil tested. You need to bring in a soil sample. Let's take a look at this. You can't just plant stuff and expect it to grow if you've got, noxious or toxic stuff in the soil. We need to look at this for real. Maybe this isn't possible. Maybe you should think about planting a garden somewhere else. You can't do it here. I think she's going to give straightforward advice. I could also see her being like someone who is like, she knows that nothing comes from giving false, happy, awesome advice, but you need truth, especially even when we're talking about spirituality. You still need something that's like more grounded, something that you can have hope and positivity, but also you live in the real world, so you gotta have things that are tangible and will make sense. Now, she may be somebody who does scrying. You notice that she's got this this mirror here, but she is the Queen of Swords. So I'm getting vibes of like Oracle of Delphi here. Like, she has a pretty good way to size things up, and the advice that she gives may be more straightforward and less murky, because she's she's not really like looking into the future so much as she's like holding up the mirror maybe to the individual and saying, well, what do you think? Because I'm guessing you probably already know whether or not your plan to move forward is going to really work. You probably already know the answer. Have you looked in the mirror lately? Have you considered what you're working with? If you're coming in to tell me your soil is super toxic, but you have this big dream of what you want to turn it into, you already have to know that you're going to have to remove that soil and bring in, loads of clean soil first. You know this, right? She might just be pointing out the obvious and holding the mirror up to them versus her being, I mean, maybe she does have a certain amount of like a gift of intuition and seeing things for what they are. But I honestly think it's less of like a mystical ability and more of a straight forward, common sense attitude. Now, again, she has a butterfly on her shoulder. By the way, somebody could wear a really elegant dress, very like 1920s style, something that has like a deep cut V or something to it. She definitely is well dressed and a little bit provocative here. So somebody could be dressed in quite a stunning manner. But what I love about this is that she's not giving false hope that something is going to be so easy. She is saying, well, of course there's a way forward. If you really want this, if you feel like this is on your life path, if you feel like whatever you're trying to plant in your life, you really want to see this grow, and you're asking me, will this work for your life path? Maybe again, they're coming to somebody who is actually like an astrologer, but she's not just going to give them the answers that they want. She's going to maybe give them more faith in the fact that she's looking first at the problems and the hurdles and assessing those and giving them grounded down to earth advice that, well, you do realize it's just a pipe dream unless you remove those other obstacles, unless you dig out the contaminated soil and backfill with fresh. Unless you kind of start fresh, or unless you just move on to a whole different place, you may not be able to salvage this and get what you want out of it. So be realistic about it. I think that is the spiritual, down-to-earth, straight talk that somebody needs right now, is what it says. Okay, so what is this about for them? Whomever is coming to her for guidance. Because that's really what this whole story feels like again and again, is like somebody who wants guidance. Four of water, so the Four of Cups, and you can see that their brain is, the cranium's opened up and they got half of their brain removed because they've been thinking about this for far too long, and they keep coming up with not the answer that they want. They keep coming up like, I'm bummed out. I wish that this isn't what it was. I want somebody to tell me this is going to be okay. It's going to work out. We have the Soldier of Earth. This has been a long time, slow moving energy. He's riding on a hog. This is stubborn energy. This is, wild boars are really dangerous. I guess he doesn't have the tusks so much, so maybe he's not a wild boar, but we're going to say somebody pig-headed. By the way, this could be, that almost looks like he's an airline captain or something, or maybe he works as a train conductor, or maybe he works in some industry where he wears a specific hat. Any kind of outfit that shows that he's, this looks like somebody who has a position of authority. Even somebody who works like as a postman or something like that, but I think he has a high level of responsibility, but he's also quite pig-headed, and part of the reason nothing has been working is because he wants stuff to work on his behalf without him changing the things that he needs to. We have the Nine of Pentacles here sideways. Nine of Pentacles is like, I don't want to be single, but I also don't want to have to commit the way I would have to if it were going to be a real relationship. By the way, somebody could have a cute little hedgehog or some, furry little cat or something that tends to sleep like on a windowsill or even in funky places. And there's a bunch of roots in like maybe in somebody's yard that could be a tripping hazard, so watch out. But this comes across like this entire story, now that it's taken more shape, I would argue, this is a story possibly of a divine masculine who has a lot of responsibilities in whatever chosen career path he's in, but he's also used to being in charge. And when he wants something, he wants it his way. And when it's not working out, like maybe he's all like, he only thinks of things from like right brain energy, and he cannot even fathom, using the other half of himself and using the left brain, or, vice versa. Maybe there's some element to him where the reason he cannot seem to figure out how can I get what I want out of a situation, it's because without realizing it, he keeps approaching everything only from his unbendable, unmovable desire to have things go his way, how he wants it. And that if he's going to see like an astrologer or somebody, they're not telling him that this is going to work. They're telling him, you would have to change things. What you've been doing isn't working because you keep wanting it your way. Now you can want it your way, but just know it's not going to yield the results that you want, so you may as well let it go. If this is about, say, a romance, I only say that because we have the 9 of Earth here. 9 of Pentacles is usually a single person's card. Now this could be about money though, but if he doesn't want to be single, but he also doesn't want to change anything and act like a partner to somebody, but he wants somebody in his life, and he's like, how come it never works out? The astrologer might be saying, or whomever this person is who's giving him this bit of wisdom, might be saying it's not working because you're not doing the things that would be required to be in a relationship, and you're not seeing it that way. You keep thinking you're the one missing out, but in fact you keep trying to insist that you should get it exactly your way, but nobody wants to tolerate only getting part of anything and you get 100% of what you want. A relationship is about two people merging. So if they cannot give equally, and they're not going to alter that at all, if there's no meeting in the middle, then they may as well just let go of the hope of this relationship working out, because this is why it's not working. They would have to change the way they're doing something. So final message on this, what are they going to end up doing? Because they've been given some straight talk about this. We have the 2 of Cups, and it is in the reverse. In this storyline, they are pretty disappointed because it's like, but I wanted to be with this person. How come I can't be with this person? You're saying that it's not the right person because they won't accept, or I won't accept the changes that would needed to be made. Then what does that mean? Does that mean I'm not ready for this 2 of Cups? Is that the way to interpret this? We see a really beautiful arched doorway. We have a carved lion's head. And we've got, like an old time photograph that could also be signs and symbols. Hang on, I got to go one more here, because that says, after talking to somebody who's being pretty straightforward with them, that this isn't working out for you because you're not willing to change anything to be with this person at all, then maybe you're not ready for this. Intellect. Yeah, I kind of think they've got a lot more to still consider about all of this, about the entire situation. We have a feminine who could, kimonos, long, beautiful dressing gowns. We do have a lot of different wheels and spindles off in the background. So anytime we deal with intellect, we're always thinking about like the wheels spinning. I kind of feel like he's realizing he's got to think longer about this. The reason this relationship hasn't worked, even though he wants it, but he wants it on his terms, he hasn't yet considered, wait a second, it will never work until I understand that the partner that I want, but I want them only on my terms, they have a mind of their own. They have their own dreams and wishes, and I would have to understand that they have their own thoughts and their own plans and their own desires, and I would need to get to know them better. I need to want to hear what's going on with them. It can't always just be my way or the highway and I get everything I want in a situation, and they're supposed to be content with whatever crumbs I throw them. I should be wanting to get to know whomever she is. Maybe that's why I'm even drawn to her, because she's got her own mind, because she's got her own energy. And yet I don't know if they've really comprehended this before, that the reason they can't be with her is because there's something that has to change in them first. I don't know if they've really gotten to know the person that they want so badly. They just want to know, why isn't it working? And I think that whomever this astrologer or I'll say just this person who's speaking some wise truth to them in a very straightforward manner is saying, okay, so tell me the scenario. So here's how you want it to be. What do you know about this person that you love? Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know. What's her favorite color? What's she like to listen to? What does she like to read? What do you know about her? And they may discover that they don't know a whole lot. Even though they've wanted to be with her, they didn't really invest enough to get to know her, but they've wanted her. And I think what's being illuminated to them right now is the reason this relationship has not worked is because they never got to know her. They didn't ask the right questions. This wasn't a meeting of the minds. This was them wanting somebody kind of the way we want to buy a car. But they're not going to have success with any romance, especially one that they feel really drawn to, until they care enough to get to know that person. And that's the first step in them no longer operating like they're just purely a single individual who's gone shopping and found the person who they want to click into, like a Lego piece, into their life. So I'm going to leave this one here. That was a lot, but you know what? I kind of love that one. You guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. If you don't know this, I do all the zodiacs. You guys can find those in the playlist that I have for every single zodiac. So if you're looking for Virgo, you can find Virgo. There's about 8,000 videos on my channel. I've been doing this a long time. So, and I do put out at least, well, usually I put out 2 for every zodiac every week. So, check it out, subscribe, turn on your notification bells so you know when I put out the different zodiacs that you might be seeking. And thank you guys again for being here. And by the way, I will be doing a singles read on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Those are the days I aim for singles. All right, take care. Bye.